I think this is one of those kits which is a must-have in the collection of any aircraft modeler. Hello, this is BJ from Hearns Hobbies, and today we'll be looking at the brand new Hong Kong model 1/48 scale Lancaster Mk.1. Now, Hong Kong model, as the name suggests, is a company from Hong Kong, and they've generally been specialists in making large aircraft kits, 1/32 scale, and this is one of their newer 1/48 scale versions. So they've already released the B17 in 48 scale. So actually behind me we've got the B17F. They've also got a G, but it's nice to see that they've released the Lancaster. Now the 32nd scale Lancaster has been very, very popular indeed, because that's the biggest scale of the kit available so far in a really available plastic kit. And it's nice that they've decided to do a 48 scale one, because prior to this, the only 48 scale one that was nice was the Tamiya one. So Tamiya one's been around for, I guess, maybe 30, 40 years now, and it still is a very nice kit, but compared to today's manufacturing techniques, it is a little bit left behind now with sharpness of detail, and I guess surface detail particularly. So let me just open this up and we'll have a look at all the parts. So here we go, nice box art. It's quite a thick box too. So we'll go to the overhead camera and let's just have a quick look. There's your box art. So all the Hong Kong models box art is all very nice. Great box art there indeed. So open this up and pop this here. All right, so we've got the manual. So nice thick manual, large format too, so it's easy to see. So we'll get into that at the end, as we usually do. And let's just have a look. So we've got some clear parts and then a whole box of bits. Let's put this aside and we'll look at the individual parts as we go. Now, perhaps I should have shown you earlier this is the 32nd scale Lancaster, which I released some time ago. Now this is this is actually a pre-production sample one. So the first slide had a clear fuselage as an option, so you could either do the left hand or the right hand with the clear, or the whole thing as clear, or you could do the whole thing with an opaque. So this gives you an idea of the size of the 32nd scale one. With the wingspan, it's just about 1 meter long. This one's all smooth on the sides because pre-production, they hadn't got the exterior panel lines in it as yet, but it gives you a good idea of the size. Now if I pick up part of the fuselage here, actually I'll pick up the other side, it'll be easier to compare. So here is 48 scale. So it's significantly smaller, but not hugely smaller. So you're still going to get a lot of great detail in the 48 scale. Okay. Now since I've got those out, let's go back to the overhead camera and we'll have a closer look. So here we go. Let's just get this to focus in. Let's see. Is it focusing? There we go. That's focused. Okay. So you can see exactly how big this sucker is. But 48 scale is still going to be pretty huge. I mean, that's going to be probably 35 centimeters long, just a fuselage there. Oh, probably longer, probably 40 centimeters there, because this part is about 80 centimeters. Okay, so what they've done is, since they've done all the design work on the larger one, a lot of that design work has already been incorporated into the smaller version. But what they've done additionally is it has been re-engineered. So the larger 32nd scale is actually in multiple pieces. The fuselage is split across here and it's joined together. It still uses the clip-in system. So this is a bayonet type system for attaching the wings, which is very clever. So you pop it inside and then you slide it and it locks into place very firmly. Now with the 48 scale one, I quite like the way that it's in one piece rather than split. Bigger one I think needed to be split to alleviate the size of the mold, and also to combat some of the warping that can happen with larger molds. So all in one makes it easy to put together, less problems with alignment. So you put this together, you'll see some very, very fine surface detail. Let me see if I can pull this back. Just move that across. So you've got individual rivets, very fine panel lines all the way across the whole fuselage. It's really good. Okay, so as you can imagine, these are just going to be put together like so. Now this has got the same internal detail as larger 32nd scale one. So if we do this, you probably see all the ribbing inside. So that's all the way throughout. And then also within the cockpit there's all that fine ribbing as well. So you're not going to be really missing out on much by getting the smaller kit. Okay, so that's great. All right, so that's the fuselage halves. Pop those over here. So when we opened up before, there's this whole sheet of clear parts. Okay, so is that, get that to focus on my hand. It's going to be hard to see. But this is similar to the larger one. So across here you'll see the side windows, which are being molded onto strips, so it's easy to fit in. And then you have the various turret glass. You got the nose glass, and then you have the main canopy. There's an optional dome here, and then optional noses as well. These are the side panels with the blisters for the cockpit sides. So you've got a few options there. The glass on Hong Kong models are particularly well molded. You find that particularly with this cockpit glass here, the areas which are framework, they're actually matte, so it's very easy to locate and see where you have to mask. And the fit on these onto the fuselage, impeccable. You're also very clever in the way that they've been molded. You've got the gates at points where it's reasonably easy to clean off without damaging the glass too much. So that's one big sheet of clear parts. Right over there. All right, so from here we've got the wings. As you can see there, you've got the wings together. You've got quite a bit of length there. So I just have a closer look here. So from memory, these sections here are separate on the larger 32nd scale. Nice that they're all complete, because it's always an issue when you've got big panels that need to join onto others. So this is totally smooth across here, don't have to worry about that. You just have to take care when you're gluing the lower parts of the engine cowls across here. But the fit's very good anyway, so you shouldn't have a real issue. Again, you'll be able to see really fine panel detail. Okay, so you've got the ailerons here. The ailerons are molded in. If you really wanted to, it wouldn't be difficult to cut them out. Okay, these are actually in halves. They've been packaged together just to make, I guess, easier to put into the box. But again, you'll be able to see the split across here. So you just need to glue all the way across. You can already see that the fit is super nice. Really clean. And then you've got this section here for the flaps. So the flaps can be built either closed or deployed. Okay. So same on this side, but you'll notice you've got some really massive holes there for the navigation type lights. All right, so there are your wings. Over here we've got a packet which includes 2 sprue. So this section here, you've got pretty much the cockpit. So you've got your big cockpit tub here. There's an elevated section, which is for the pilot. You've got the navigation station here and the radio operator seat just there. So from looking at this is pretty much identical to the 32nd scale one, just really small. You've got all the radio equipment. You've got this bulkhead section with oxygen tanks. You've got the tail wheel. More cockpit sides. Bulkheads for the front end, for the bombardier station. Some seats, more radios, and then you've got the undercarriage fork for the tail wheel. On the other side, there's a large section here. This is the floor for the back section of the fuselage. You've got some framework here for, this is for the nose gun. And then you've got the instrument panel here. So I'm pretty sure this has got decals for the instrument panel, which were omitted on the 32nd scale one. So it's not a real problem with the 32nd scale one, because a lot of people do get aftermarket decals or update for the instrument panel. For myself, I just hand painted all dials. Takes a bit of time, but you can be done. Over here we have framework for the inside of the fuselage. And then we've got various parts here for, let's see, engine. This is part of the engine cowl with the main undercarriage. And various bits and pieces of framework. We've got the little foot pedals there for the pilot. Okay, moving on over here. So again, there's 2 sprue in this particular packet, but these ones are identical. So this has got the components which are used on each side. So obviously you've got main undercarriage. Again, they've done a really nice job. They've got the weighted wheel look, which are carried over from the 32nd scale one. It makes a huge difference to the overall look of aircraft with weighted wheels, particularly big ones like this. And you can see how flat they are. It gives it just so much more weight and presence. Here we also have all the engines. So you've got engine blocks, exhausts, you've got the spinners, we've got the turbos, and here we've got the large struts. These are for the main undercarriage, which are in the engine cowlings. And you've got the heads of the engines and such. So over here you can see exactly the same. Okay. All right, so here we've got a single sprue with, actually there's 2 sprue on there. So this larger section here, this is the doors for the bomb bays. So with the Lancasters, they had some of the largest bomb bays, and they were able to carry the largest load. So they were very much used in a lot of night raids across Europe. And then later on, they were used for pinpoint bombing. And then they converted them for the bouncing bomb, which was used for attacking the German dams, and also for the Grand Slam bomb, which was like an earthquake land shaker. Over here you can see the 50 cal machine guns. They're small but really well detailed. So a lot of those, because there's going to be quite a lot of gun turrets. You got your nose and your tail. Then also the ventral on the back. This is an optional bubble. Can't remember exactly which version that goes on. May not be used on this. Over here we've got some components for the front and back turret. Probably see a bit more on this side. All right, so there's more framework here. There's 2 sections here, which is for the front and rear turret. You've got the pilot seat, 2 halves. You've got bases of the turrets here as well. And some antennas, small parts. So these are across the nose, those antennas. Okay, moving on, we've got these big chunky bits here. Okay, again, there's 2 sprues in this particular packet. You've got these big massive sections here. So these are the engine nacelles. These are the inner nacelles with the undercarriage. Okay, so you can see where the doors fit here. And then these are the outer engine nacelles, so they're a bit slimmer. You've got the undercarriage doors there. On this side, you've got the horizontal stabilizers. And then the vertical across here. And then this section, you've got the flaps. So flaps are in 2 sections. Again, they can be built in open or closed position. All right, this is a last packet of sprues. So these are the bombs. So I guess you can select a variety of setups. So you've got this big, massive, I can't remember what they call that. Do they call that the cookie cutter? Something like that. It's massive. And then you've got these standard incendiaries there. Okay, you've got some props for the engines. And then we get into this packet here, which is the decals. So 2 sets of decals, very nicely printed. These are all printed by Cartograph in Italy. And then you see there's this section of photo-etch brass as well. So this has the buckles for the pilots and any of the other seats within the cockpit. And then a few other bits and pieces, not too sure where they go, but we can check that in the manual as we get into that soon. And this is the section where you've got the dials for the instrument panel, which is a nice touch. Okay, let's move on. That leaves us with the manual, which we pulled out earlier, and I've just got that here. Okay, so the manual is quite large. On the front, you have a little bit of the history, a description of the symbols and how to read them as you go. And then we get straight into it. So This is their traditional style design of instructions, CAD style. They're easier to go through. You've got the codes here, which is for the paint codes. So the paint codes are on the front. I think they should be at the back, so you can reference those. So you build the pilot seat first. Here's a photo-etch going in for the straps or the harnesses. Most of the cockpit, all the components going in. You've got radio equipment, pilot seat, bulkheads. Bulkheads actually a bit further along here. You've got the tables going in. It's actually very, very complicated. This particular front section has a lot of detail. So this is the whole floor. So this is the bomb bay floor, which we saw earlier. And then there's a bulkhead going in place with the oxygen panels, side panels. And then here is the extension towards the back. So this is heading towards the tail end. From there, you've got some of the ammo cases. So from this particular point, I can see that some of the details being left out. There's usually a lot of ammo. I guess they're the guide chutes, so the ammo can go into the tail gun. But I guess with something this small, it doesn't really matter if you can't see them, because once it's all closed up, you won't be able to see anything through these little holes. Okay, from there we get into quite a complicated build of the turrets. So this one here, we've got the what's that? That's the nose turret, upper fuselage, and then you have your tail turret. This is the glass for the cockpit, all going together. So you have your options of the blistered type side glass or flat. Over here we've got the seat for the navigator or the bombardier, and then there's some photo-etch straps that go onto there as well. So you've got the horizontal stabilizers with the verticals being put together. Over here, bottom of the fuselage, so here's the bomb load. So 6 iron bombs and one of those big gigantic ones. Panels going in for the bombardier station. You've got antennas going in the back. Oh, here's the where the optional blister goes. That's a clear blister. And then we have the tail wheel. And then from here we've got the options of having the closed bomb bay or the open bomb bay. I guess if you're going to be putting all the bombs in, you don't want to close it all up. So it's all opened up here with the struts. From here we've got the nose getting put together. So you've got the clear nose section for the bombardier. This little section here for sealing off the front turret. Glass going in, top turret, rear turret going on. Horizontal stabilizers. All right, and then we start on the engines. Okay, so you've got the engines all here. So I guess they're going step by step by... Okay, so no. Here you're building all 4 engines at the same time. Okay, so you just got to see the multiples there. Obviously the engines are the same, so you build them at the same time, makes it easier. 4 spinners and props. You make the 2 undercarriage, or the main undercarriage arms and the wheels and tires. And then the engines are all being built up into the nacelles. Okay, so you got your outers, and then you have the inners. So the inners have the undercarriage bays as well. Wings are going together here. So you can see the 2 halves, and then the engine nacelles are glued on. From there you have the undercarriage going in. So choices of the open undercarriage or the closed. And then you have your options of the closed flap or open flap. All right, so then there's basically the same repeated for the other side. You've got all the nacelles getting put together, the wings, your options of undercarriage, open, closed, and then the flap here as well. Then over here, this is a bit of a novelty. I don't think this really applies to this model because I was looking for these parts, couldn't find them. And then over here, it indicates positions for these components, but I couldn't find any on the wings. So I think this is moot. So don't worry about that bit. Over here, you have your completed plane. And then over towards the end, we have the legend for the naming of the parts. So it's easy for you to find where they are. Got quite a few multiples. You got your photo-etch here. You've got the 2 sheets of decals. You have quite a few stencils as well. So over here, actually this is the options for your decals. Okay, so 1942 and then 44 versions as well. So it looks like slightly different camouflage type pattern. And then over here, this is where the stencils go. There's quite a variety across here, like the no steps and such. And then you have your paint guide at the very, very end. Okay, so the paint guide's handy. It's got the names here. You've got AK numbers, Tamiya numbers, and Gun's Mr. Hobby numbers. But from all that, you should be able to find all your equivalents as well if you prefer using other brands. Okay, so that's the Lancaster. So, oh, forgot, they actually give you one of these as well. So there's a poster as well, which you can frame. So that's the nose art, sorry, the box art. That's there as well. So very nice print. Good quality, very nice art, so it's worth framing up and keeping it. So that's really good. So thank you for watching my open box review of the Hong Kong Model 1/48 scale Lancaster. This is the Mk.1, and as you can see, as I compared it to the 32nd scale one, it is a really nice kit. I'd say this particular kit is much superior to the Tamiya kit, although the Tamiya kit does include pilots, which a lot of people like. So if pilots are a must, then I guess a Tamiya kit. If you can do without pilots, then the Hong Kong model is really good. You can always scratch build or find some alternative pilots as well and have them put inside. But as you can see with the surface detail, interior detail, it's much nicer. Fit is superb. It has really nice cartograph decals. And I think this is one of those kits which is a must-have in the collection of any aircraft modeler. So thank you for watching. If you're interested in the 32nd scale kit, we do have those available. So I have the links down below as well for you to have a quick look at. So thank you again for watching.